Good morning, everybody. I am beyond excited to be with you this morning. I know you guys are going to keep joining us. We're going to keep talking for just a little bit of time, saying hi, letting people get ready and get in the chat area. Say hi. We'll make sure we shout out to you and say hi back. I'm glad to, well, at least for this morning, be in the office, getting a little bit of things done, share with you a little bit of what I've been studying, and then get back out to the shop. So, it's a lot easier for me to stay up and do some of the studying and things at night once the kids and wife are in bed. And I can't do the shop work when I'm in bed or when they're in bed, because then I'd have to leave, and Anna doesn't like being alone. So, yeah. How are you guys' day going so far this week? It's Tuesday, right? Hopefully you guys had a good Monday. Here at the church, we found a leak in our pipes, and we got it fixed before any major issues. So that was a really good thing. And then I'm just excited about what we're going to do going forward. I know Pastor RT and his family are taking a much needed vacation, and they're enjoying that time. So holding down the fort here. I know we have a lot of others that are on vacation. Kathy, Whitney, I don't know if you guys are back. I think you're still in South Carolina. So good morning to you. Glad you could join us while on vacation. I know Christy just got back from a trip. I know we have others that are on trips. And so it's that time, right? It's that time where people are traveling and doing all kinds of trips and visits and all kinds of things. So we keep a lot of them in our prayers as they're traveling and trying to make sure they're safe and get to where they need to be, and they have good times doing those things. I think of the Comptons who are leaving here soon for a while, going out on a trip west, and I think it sounds fantastic. We've got the youth camp coming up, traveling there, doing some trips, and so just excited about everybody that's able to go and do those things. Visit people, do the things that they need to do. So feel free to let us know, share pictures, and enjoy it so we can enjoy it with you. Right? We rejoice with those that rejoice, right? So those that are having fun and doing those fun things, we'd like to enjoy those with you. So good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Christy. Good morning, Caitlin. Good morning, Judy. So glad that everybody is here with us this morning. And the verse today, it's interesting. I was thinking about it, and I was looking at this idea, and I'm trying to think through, obviously I know what it's saying, and I know what Stephen, because we're looking at Acts and Stephen's speech, I know what Stephen was trying to say, but what is a way that we could push this through? What is a way that we could look at this and say, okay, let's get in a little bit deeper, let's get in a little bit more on this, and what does it say to us, and how can we apply this, right? And so one of the things that I was looking at was obviously getting ready for preaching on Wednesday. We're going through the Beatitudes, right? And so I was looking at that and trying to study some of that stuff up, and I started thinking, okay, I got this idea. So I wanted to share it with you today. It's very raw, it's very early level, but just some thoughts about what we see here in Acts, and how do we correlate that? How do we connect that? How do we understand this in a bigger context than what it is specifically saying here, while not losing the specific context, okay? So Stephen is giving a speech right before he's getting ready to die. Stephen is giving a speech. He's going to be the first martyr outside of Jesus, right? So he is going to be the first person that we know of killed after after Jesus left, right? So he's going to start preaching, and he's going to start teaching, and he's giving this speech, and he's explaining to them about their people. They loved having pride in their history, and the Jews, right? They loved being like, we are the sons of Abraham and Isaac, and yes, you were, and Stephen's saying you are. That is the case, but let's not forget something. And what he's saying is, and this is Acts 7, down in verse 44, he's talking about how their people, their fathers, the ones that they were taking so much pride in, had abandoned God. and how they were getting in trouble for abandoning God, that they had to go in the wilderness. And then he said they had to, in verse 44, he says, our fathers had the tent of witness in the wilderness, right? So he's saying God had a tent built so that he could be with them in the wilderness, because they were in the wilderness because they disobeyed him and that they pushed him out. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. Just as he who spoke to Moses directed him to make it according to the pattern that he had seen. Our fathers then, in turn, brought it in with Joshua when they dispossessed the nations that God drove out before our fathers. So now he's saying, yes, so this tent was made during Moses, so we could have it during the wilderness because we were banished, because we weren't doing what we were supposed to do. Then that tent, God took in with us while God dispossessed all of the people to give us a land. And then it wasn't until David, who found favor in the sight of God, asked to find a dwelling place for God. But it was Solomon who built him the house. He's saying, okay, you guys take so much pride in your synagogue. You take so much pride in the things that you've built with your hands and the things that you have and the things of your fathers. And he's like, let me tell you who you really are. He literally dives into them and he's explaining how broken all of the leaders, all of the special people, all of the, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and he goes through the list and he says literally all of them. He's saying, you realize how messed up they were. You realize how many mistakes they made and how they would turn and how they wouldn't do what was supposed to be done and all of this stuff. And then Moses came to save us and you rejected him. You didn't do what he was supposed to do. You didn't follow him. So then we get thrown into the wilderness. And then even while we're in the wilderness, God decides to build a tent. And he gives all of the people the abilities to build a tent. And then eventually he gives Solomon, the ability to build him a house. You've done nothing. God has done it all. And this is what he said. That God pushed out the people. God made the tent. God built the building. God decided who was worthy and who wasn't worthy of building a temple. He's saying David, who found favor in the sight of God, wasn't even allowed to build it. It had to be his son. God chose all of this. And what Stephen is trying to get them to understand is that you people and us people are not the ones that are powerful. We're not the ones that are gods. We are not the special ones. He is. And he being God. Stephen's saying, I'm not the special one. You're not the special one. You don't build the things. You don't make the decisions. God does. You don't cast out the people. You didn't drive out the people. God did. We are just here because God is allowing us to be here. And this is what he says in verse 48. Yet the Most High does not dwell in houses made by hands. And then he quotes a prophet here, and he's quoting Isaiah, and he's saying, heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. What kind of house will you build for me, says the Lord, or what is my place of rest? Did not my hand make all these things? So even at the time when God said, Solomon, you can build the house that your father wanted to build, I told him, no, you can build it, but be careful because this house that you're bringing me there, because I've built everything. Saying, yes, you can build a temple to come and worship me, but I want you to be careful because I want you to understand that I do not get stuck in places. I do not get confined in places. I am God and there's nothing. Like all of the things you're going to use to build the house, I made. All of the things that you're going to put in the house, I gave you. All of the abilities that you're going to use to construct this magnificent piece of architecture, I made. Do not make this about yourself. Make it about me and understand that I am the most important. I was more important than the tent. I was more important than this tabernacle. I am always going to be more important than anything. This is why God says, don't make any graven images. You don't make anything to confine me. I am God. Sovereign. Lord over everything. Satan himself. That's why I love. Everyone's got their reasons and parts of stories that they love. I love the story of Job. where Satan is up there and God says, what are you doing? I'm going to go down and mess with your servant. No, you're not. I love it. No, you're not. God says, no, you know what? I'll allow you to do some things, but you don't get the ability to do this. Confining Satan, understand this, confining Satan. The second most powerful thing. God absolutely being the biggest and absolutely being the strongest. He's not confined. He is not constricted. He is not restrained. There is nothing to restrain him. He does what he wants, when he wants, and how he wants. And every time he gets asked, and every time there's a thing, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy. I will exalt whom I will exalt. I will choose who I choose. I will do what I want. I am God. No one stops me. And then when we take this, and this is the focus that I want you to see. So we have this sovereign God, literally cannot be guarded, cannot be handled, cannot be confined, cannot be boxed, can't be anything. This is what he does. He loves us. With all of that power, with all of that ability, with all of that stuff, you know what he does? He loves us. He takes all of that and loves us with it. He takes all of that unrestrained power, unconfined ability, literally you can't stop me mentality, and he says, and I'm going to love you. And I'm going to love you that much. I'm going to love you unconstrained. I'm going to love you unconfined. I get to determine how much I love you, and I'm going to tell you how much I love you. I'm going to send you my son, and I'm going to give you a sacrifice. How do I tie this into what I was thinking is in the Beatitudes, right? What do they all start with? Like, blessed are something, right? Blessed are these, blessed are these. I'm going to be working through on Wednesday. Blessed are those who mourn, and blessed are those who poor in spirit. The poor in spirit and those who mourn. But there's multiple, right? Blessed are these, blessed are these, blessed are these. The biggest question you might ask is, how can those people be blessed? How can those people, right, the ones that the world would say aren't being blessed because they're poor, they're mourning, they're meek, they're weak, they're humble, they're whatever, all of the things that they are blessed. How can this be so? And I want to give you a very quick, simple, easy, but huge answer here. Because God said so. If God says, hey, I'm going to bless those who are poor in spirit, and the world goes, no, those aren't the ones that are blessed. And God goes, no, you don't understand it. I'm God, you're not. I'm going to bless those who are poor in spirit. I'm going to bless those who mourn. But God, that doesn't make sense. The world says that we shouldn't mourn, or that we shouldn't be poor in spirit. We shouldn't be poor in anything, right? We need to be rich, and we need to not mourn. We need to be happy all the time, and we need to work through these things. And that's what the world says. And God says, I understand that. And you can go do what the world says, but guess what? That's going to fail. I'm God, and I'm telling you the truth, and I'm telling you what's honest. If you mourn, if you are poor in spirit, if you are meek, if you hunger and thirst, then you will be blessed. And I can tell you this because I'm God. No one stops me. I will bless you. I'm going to. Jesus is literally teaching on the cross, or teaching on there on the mountain. I am going to bless you if you live this way. I am going to bless you if these are your attributes. But the world says that's not the attributes we need. I know, and I get that, but I'm telling you they are. And I can tell you that because I am sovereign. There is no one that stops me. You just don't. He literally spent his entire life here saying, you guys aren't getting it. Tear down this temple. That's fine. In 3 days, I'm going to raise it again, because you don't have the ability to stop me. You can say whatever you want to say. You can do whatever you want to do, and it's not going to work. You can't beat me. I am God, and I am going to love you regardless of anything you try to do that tells me I shouldn't love you, because I'm God. I am going to give you a way out even though you don't deserve it. I am going to pay your debt of sin. I am going to sacrifice myself for you, and you can't do anything about it because I am God. You are not. And this should hopefully give you so much excitement and so much hope and so much goodness, because we understand that there is literally nothing that can stand in front of God. God says, you can't build a house for me. You can't do anything because I've made everything. You can't stop me from loving you, which means this. When Satan comes up, hey, you've sinned. That was a really bad sin. You shouldn't have done that. There's no way God can use you. God says, no, he's not me. He doesn't get to decide what I do. I do. And I said I loved you anyway. I said that while you were a sinner, I still came and showed you love. That I didn't wait for you to be perfect to show you love. Your mess up, it's a mistake, but I still love you anyway. No, you're not strong. You are weak. But you know what? When you're weakest, I can show you more of my strength. When you depend on me more, I can show you more things. When you rely on me more, when you glorify me more, and when you die to yourself more, when you give up more of yourself and you continually rest more in me, I will show you even more. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to, because I'm God. And these are the conversations. This is why David has these blatant conversations with God. God, I don't understand, but then understanding, but you are God. But you are good. You're going to handle all of these things. So I want you to see this morning when Stephen is saying, hey, you can't build a home for God. You can't build a box and put him in. There's nothing you can do to contain him. And that's an accurate lesson in and of itself. But I want you to take it a step further today and say, because of that, because that is true, I know my God can do anything he tells me he can do. I know my God is going to fulfill all of his promises. I know my God is not going to ever stop loving me. I know my God is never going to stop using me. I know my God is never going to be stuck. He's never going to be confused. He's never going to be surprised, because he is God. And because of that, I can not only honor him and love him because he loved me first, but I can serve him and I can dedicate my life to him because I know he can use it. I don't have to be good at speaking. I don't have to be good at serving. I don't have to be good at anything. Doesn't matter. I can have all of these brokenness. I can have all of these problems because it's not about me. It's about him. He is sovereign. Therefore, he can overcome any of my issues. He can overcome any of my problems. He can overcome any of my inadequacies. He can overcome any of my insecurities if I rely on him, because he is sovereign and he can handle it. He can do it. So hopefully that's an encouragement to you this morning, along with maybe just a push to continue to do what God is telling you to do. So I want to make sure I say good morning to everybody that jumped on and made comments. So good morning to you, Linda. You're taking a break from driving at the basement. I heard about that. I'm very sorry about the basement, but I'm glad that you were able to take a little bit of a break, and hopefully we could give you that and give you some more energy to continue working through that. Renee, good morning to you. Zara, Mallory, good morning. And George, good morning. So glad to have you this morning. Guys, I love you. I can't wait to see you guys again and to be together with you. I know we'll hopefully do that Wednesday. If you are able to, we're going to be talking about the Beatitudes. Again, I'm talking about those who mourn and those who are poor in spirit. And so come and hear that Wednesday night. Good morning to you, James, on YouTube. And so right now, we don't have any crazy announcements. We're kind of in that calm before the storm. I'm getting ready to start setting everything up for camp. Not a lot for everybody to do. You guys have supported us so very much, and I'm excited about that. You guys have really stepped up and helped us get ready for camp. So we're just going to get the final details, all of that laid out, and then get ready for that. And then our next big, huge thing here is going to be the block party. So we're going to start really promoting that. We've got a couple events, women's events and men's events next month. In the month of July, we'll get more information about those out more information about those out very soon. But we're going to have a men's event and a women's event, I believe, in July. And then we are going to have our block party in August. So that's kind of an outlook of really quickly. Tomorrow at 10, we'll still be here. And then tomorrow at 7, again, auditorium, study on the Beatitudes. If you guys need anything, please reach out. Let me know. If not, see you then. Bye.